Welcome back, and we're going to be creating an assembly through these next series of videos. So as you can see, these are going to be all the components that I'm going to use to create the trolley wheel. And in this video, the one that we're going to be dealing with is we're going to start off by creating the bracket. Okay? And you can see from this drawing we're going to need two of them. The good thing about Inventor and most of your other 3D programs is that you can create one of them and then you can just bring them in as many as you can. So we're going to start off by creating this bracket. Alright, so one thing that I noticed in the drawing is that it's a metric drawing. So I'm going to set Inventor up to automatically start using metric. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the new icon, and you can see from the top here that I'm using Inventor 2024. So we're going to select this new icon, and it should bring us open a dialog box that's going to allow us to select certain things. Now when you first open this, yours may be set to this template. So it says English US or whatever language that you have yours set up to. And then I'm going to choose this metric folder. And then from here, I'm going to choose the standard millimeter IPT. And remember, in this program, I can either double click this icon or I can single click it and select create. And once you do that, you're going to give Inventor a little time and then it's going to load up. Alright, so once it's loaded up, and your screen may be a little different from mine, meaning that the shades of the colors or something of that nature may be different. I changed mine to make them a little bit clearer, but it doesn't matter whichever way you want to use it. Alright, so the first thing that you're going to see here in Inventor and most of your parametric drafting and 3D modeling programs is that you're going to have to either create a sketch and then you're going to have to build something off of this. Now, I will try to remember to put the AutoCAD equivalent to this if you want to see me do this exact same drawing in AutoCAD. So I'll put the little card up here in the top right corner. But for now, let's go ahead and start it in Inventor. So I'm going to click this top icon, and this works just like most of your other programs, is that underneath here you'll have some options. But whichever one is at the top is the one that we can use. You can also see that in Inventor it gives me some tool tips. And it also, right next to 2D Sketch, and I know it kind of goes off when I move it, you see the letter S. That S is just a shortcut. So if I'm here, and all I have to do is press S on my keyboard, it's going to automatically put me into that S, or that sketch mode. So that'll be my quick instant 2D sketch. I can just use S just like I use in AutoCAD. The only difference here is that you don't have to hit the enter button. So you just tap S, and it automatically invokes the command, and you're going to see that with a lot of the other commands. Alright, so now I have to define which plane I want to start this on. So however you want to create your shape, I like to usually center my parts, and it's a really good practice to do that. Alright, so I'm going to start off here with the bottom, or I can start off with the side view of this, depending on how you want to look at it. And now, when I second thought about it, I'm going to do it on the side view. So I'm going to click the plane that says XY. And once I do that, you're going to see Inventor will bring up some major axis lines. And then I have a center dot here. This little yellow dot is the center point. That center point is the exact same center point if I expand the origin. And then you can see, well, these are my major axes. So if I hover over the YZ plane, XY plane, or XZ plane, you'll see that each one of those are highlighted, as well as the X and Y. And if you pay attention to your UCS here at the bottom, you can tell that this is the X axis and this is the Y axis. And that center point is located here. So if you ever delete those by any chance, so for example, if I put a window around this and that's just one single left click and drag over this way, and I hit delete, the way I can bring that back is just by selecting project geometry, select on the center button, and then if I hit the escape button to get out of the project geometry command, you can see that that is back. Okay, let's go ahead and work on this and create this part. So the first thing I'm going to do is use a rectangle, the 2 point. I'm going to click here and here. The first dimension that you put on yours is going to scale all of this geometry up. So whatever dimension I'm going to do first. Now I can use the dimension command, or I can type in D. So once again, you see that it has that little D next to it. So if I select dimension, select the line, now I have to come down, and once I come down, I have to do one more click. Once you put that click there, you will get it to edit that dimension. And in this case, I need to tell it how long this is. And I'm going to refer back to the drawing. And in this case, it's going to be 46. And I will show you where I got that from. Okay, so really quick and simple. Here's my 46. So all I'm doing is defining how long this rectangle is. And you can see from here, I'm also going to give it a height of 10. So those are going to be the two dimensions that I'm going to need. And I'm also going to create this little cutout part here in the front. I know it looks like a fillet command, but there is no backwards fillet, so to say, in this program. Or in any program, as far as I know, but I'll show you how to create it. So the next thing I need to do, and I'm still in the dimension command, is select this line, and you'll notice that I'm not selecting two endpoints. I'm selecting the whole line. One thing I will caution you for, and I just hit escape to get out of dimension command, is when I go to my dimension, try to stay away from the midpoint of that. So try to work somewhere at the lower or the upper part of your object that you're trying to dimension. So I'm going to select here, come back, one more left click, that'll place the dimension, then type in 10. Okay, let's take a look at this front part, and remember that it has a radius of 5. So the overall height of this is 10. I have a radius of 5. I'll go ahead and create a circle. I'll place that circle right here on this endpoint. So I'm just going to left click when I see that green dot. And as I'm pulling this out to show what I want, you can see that it's asking me for a diameter. If you do a right click on your mouse, you can select radius, and then I can type in what radius I want, and in this case it's going to be 5. And then hit escape, and then I need to trim this off. One of the shortcuts for trim in this command is X, or you can find the trim command located here. So I'll go to trim, and then I'm just going to trim these off like so. Okay. So you can see now I have most of my dimensions that I need here. And in Inventor, you're going to also see one other thing. It says I need 4 dimensions. Now these 4 dimensions is just to make this thing totally constrained, and that's a really good practice to do. Although you don't have to fully constrain any of your sketches. If this is good enough for you, you can go ahead and do that. Alright, so one of the constraints that I'm going to do is I'm going to lock this midpoint here onto this midpoint. So that way that this thing will always be centered amongst this axis. The way I'm going to do that is I'm going to choose coincidence. I'm going to go find the green dot that is on this line and left click on it. Then I'm going to come to my yellow dot here and left click on that. And you can see now that I have 2 of my dimensions are gone just by me placing that. The other 2 dimensions that this program is looking for is in reference to this arc. As you can see, if I left click and hold on this arc, it'll get smaller. And yours may not have done that depending on how you quite created that. Alright, so the easiest way for me to do this is I can lock this to the vertical and the horizontal line that is according to. So what I'm going to do is choose vertical. I'm going to select this point, and you can see those dotted lines giving me a preview of which way vertical is. You got to keep in mind that you're working in a 3D atmosphere or environment, because I can rotate this screen and vertical will look like horizontal. So it's really important to notice which way those tracking lines are going. I'll select this dot, and then I'll select that dot. You can see here at the bottom I need one more dimension. That will be the horizontal, so I'll go horizontal. I see my green tracking lines is going horizontal. I'll select this center and then this endpoint. Alright, you can see that my sketch is fully constrained here at the bottom and everything is totally satisfied. I'll go ahead and finish sketch. I'm just going to scroll backwards a little bit, and this is another thing that you're going to see with this program is that the zoom in and out function is reversed of AutoCAD, and there is a way to change that, and I can show you that in another video. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is choose extrude. And once I pick this command, it automatically sees the profile that I want to use, and now it's asking me, hey, how long or how wide you want this thing to go. I like to keep my parts symmetrical, and then I need to tell it how wide it is. And now I'll refer back to the drawing just to show you how to calculate that. So you can see from the drawing here that it tells me that the centers, and this is the actual bottom of this shape, just in case it's not that clear. So if I'm looking at this from the bottom, I should see this. It's telling me that it's 50 to the centers. And it also has a radius of 12. This 12 is going to be on both sides. So if I got 12 plus 12, that should give me 24. And 24 plus 50 is equal to 74. So my total length of this is 74. Just out of, kind of looking around at the other parts, you'll notice that you see another 74 down here. That should kind of give you an idea that this part should sit on here. Okay? Alright, so 74 is going to be the number that we're going to place here. And now we have our bottom part created. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start creating a geometry to go up. So what I'm going to do is select this face. So I'm left clicking on this face. And then this third icon, I'm sorry, not third, in this case I think it's like the fifth one, is the create sketch option. So I'm going to select that icon, and you're going to see that it's going to rotate around my screen. I'm going to create a rectangle somewhere here. I'm going to try my best to stay away from this yellow dot here. So I'm just going to create a rectangle like so. Now I need to define how wide and how, the width and the length of this, and then I'll figure out how far I need to extrude. So if I'm looking at some really super quick dimensions on this, I see that I have a 5 that's coming off the front of this, and then I have a 14 coming off of this part, right? So if I kind of do a little bit of math, that I know this total length is 14, and if I minus 5, then this should be 9. So therefore I have my thickness of this, and now I need to figure out how wide this is. It gives me a radius dimension of 16, so that 16 times 2 should be 32. All right, so we have a 9 going one direction, and we have a 32 going the other. Okay, so with those two dimensions, I can go to dimension. I'm just going to click on this line here, come up and place it. And remember, that's 32. And then this dimension here on the side should be 9. And now I need this center of this one to be at the center of this line. Just like I did before, I can use the coincident constraint. I can go find the green dot on this line, click it, and then I can roll over until I see a yellow circle dot. And once I see that, I'm going to do a left click on that. And now you can see that it included that line into this sketch. All right, I'm going to do one other step here. Is I like to make things construction lines, so you're going to see when I go to the actual command that I'm going to use, like extrude, it'll automatically pick the profile for me. So I'm just going to select this line, do a right click, and then I'm going to choose and make it construction. Let's go ahead and finish this sketch. And now we need to figure out how tall to make this. Alright, so coming back to here, we can see that the height is 62. So that's going to be the height that I'm going to use, but keep in mind that I have to take away that 10 that I've already created here at the base. So that number should be 52. Okay, so let's go ahead and choose extrude. And once I hit the extrude button, it already can figure out what I'm trying to do. Now I just have to change the height of this to 52. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to place that circle on here, and I'm just going to extrude it forward. So I'm going to rotate this around to the back just by selecting that icon. I'm going to select this back face. Choose this icon here. That means I'm going to create a sketch on it. And you can see that it kind of pulled it up. I'm just going to hold down the middle mouse button and I'm panning down. I need to create a circle that's located at this green dot. So go ahead and click it. And if you want to, you can go all the way over and click that green dot. Hit the escape button, and once again it brought in some geometry that I don't need. So I'm going to select this yellow line, do a right click, and choose construction. Just so when I go to use the extrude command, it's going to automatically select my surface. I'll go ahead and go to finish sketch. Remember that this offset here should be 14 going that way. So I'm going to choose extrude. It automatically picks the circle that I want. I'm going to tell it 14. And then I need to change the direction. I need to send it going that way. But when I do that, it automatically assumes that I want to put a cut through this. Well, I don't. The Boolean operation I'm going to use is going to be join. And then hit OK. And once you see, it will create that part here. All right. Let's see, one of the next things I'm going to do is create the rib on the back, and I'm going to actually use the rib command that we do have in Inventor. Some basic information about that rib is going to be that it is 10 wide, and I need the 40 going up. So you can see that I'm using up all of my dimensions that I have on here to create this part. So once again, it's going to be 10, and then it's going to be 40 going up. Okay, so I'm going to create that rib, and remember that rib is right here in the middle. Luckily for us, we created our part, and we have a plane that's going right through the middle. And it's actually going to be the XY plane. And you see that that XY plane is cutting my shape in half. So I'm going to click the icon where it says Create Sketch. And then I have another neat tool in this program is that I can slice the geometry and get to the middle of this. That icon is going to be located here, or you can hit F7 on your keyboard. And once I do that, you're going to see that my shape was going to cut open. So if it had a hole or something in the middle of this, you would see it. But it's showing it as solid. Alright, one neat benefit of that is that I can use a couple of different commands that'll hurry up and get things on this drawing for me. I'm just going to use this Project Cut Edge. And when I do that, the whole entire shape around this is going to turn yellow. Alright, I'm going to do one left click and hold and come all the way up and enclose my whole object. Then I'm just going to tell it I want to make it construction. Hit the escape button. Let's use the line command, and just like in AutoCAD, it's just L enter. So line. Click on this endpoint, and then I'm going to go somewhere near this line. Try to stay away from any midpoints or any other constraints. Let's go ahead and put a dimension on this one. So dimension. I'm going to select this line. I'm going to come this direction. Click. And remember that the height of that is 40. And hit escape twice. I'm just taking a look around my shape to make sure I don't have any solid yellow lines. Go ahead and go to Finish Sketch. Next, let's take a look at the rib command. So let's go to rib. And it automatically picks my profile that I need. Next thing I need to do is tell it how I want it to look. So I'm going to select this icon here. I'm going to give it a thickness of 10. So change this to 10 millimeters. And then I need to send it. Right now the profile is shooting out this way. So I'm going to reverse the angle of this by selecting this icon here. So I have this icon selected, this one, and then I have a thickness of 10 and I have it symmetrical. Go ahead and hit the Finish Sketch. Let's go ahead and do all of our fillets next, because I like to kind of keep most of my fillets toward the end. And you can see on the drawing that I have some fillets of 5 and I have one of 16. Alright, so the ones that are in question is I have this 16. And then I have a 5 here and a 5 here. And if you kind of take a look on your drawing, that's just telling me that I have a 5 going here, here, up here as well, one in the back, and then 16 on the sides. Okay. And also, since we're here, we're going to also do our fillets that have a radius of 12. So we can do all 3 of those in one command. Alright, so let's go to the fillet command. Let's go ahead and knock out our biggest ones first. So I'm going to change this number to 16. I'm going to select this small edge here. I'm going to flip it around to the other side just by selecting this corner here. And that takes care of my two 16s. Next, I'm going to do the 12s, which are located here and here. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to select this little small icon here, and that's going to add another fillet. I'm going to change the number to 12. And then I'm going to select here and here. Alright, and then I'm going to once again add another one, and then these are going to be my 5s. So my 5 ones are located here, here, and here. Let's rotate back to the other side. It's located here, here, and here. Let's go ahead and hit the OK button, and now you can see that I have all of those created. The last thing I need to do is put my holes that are located 1 through here, or I'm sorry, 2 through here, and 1 through at the top. Let's go ahead and select this surface. Select the Create Sketch icon. Next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and choose from the drop down Project Geometry. Let's go ahead and select that face. That arc. So both of those arcs is what I selected. I'll choose the point. Select that end point or center point and that center point. Go to Finish Sketch. And what this does is that I like to do this if I have holes that are the exact same size, because when I go to the hole command, it's going to automatically select those. And in the dialog box, it says how big or what's the diameter of those. And in the drawing that it does show that that is indeed 12 millimeters. So go ahead and hit the OK button. Okay, so knocking off more stuff in our list here. You can see that we took care of that. This one was taken care of really early, and the last dimension now that I need to do is going to be my diameter 12 that's sitting right along the top. Alright, so for this one, it's going to be rather easy. I can go through that whole thing of making a point and doing all that again, but in this case, it's already, all of the geometry and everything I need is already there. So I'm just going to go to the hold command directly. I'm going to select this face, and then I'm going to select that circle there. So it's going to make that hole concentric to that circle. And once again, the options that I have here is go through all, and once I hit the OK button, it should be done. Let's rotate this around, and now you can see that this shape is actually indeed finished. Okay, so once you're done with this, don't forget to save it. So hit the save icon, and then wherever you're going to place this at, I'm just going to name this as bracket. It's named already an Inventor part. Once I hit save, and then this part is complete, you'll see that the name bracket should appear here. Alright, so I want to thank you for watching, and everybody have a nice day.